Hi everyone, my name is Maggie Gomez and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 3 ways to increase your income. This is a follow-up video for the one that I posted last week, which was about getting your money in order. The question is, well, what if you don't have extra money at the end of the month? First and foremost, I am going to talk about job hopping because that is where my experience lies and the way that I think you have the greatest success to increase your income the quickest. People have mixed feelings on this because obviously you don't want your employer to think you're flaky and you can't hold down a job. So people get worried about having multiple jobs on their resume, but you have to do this with some thoughtfulness. Basically, you can't be doing it every few months, right? You gotta get into a job, stay there for some time, learn the skills, become a better employee, more knowledgeable, more marketable, and then don't be afraid to jump ship and move on to the next experience if you're not making the money that you want to be making. When you're finding a job, do this with intention. Like really do some research into the career that you want. Use Glassdoor as a resource to help you understand what the position actually pays. They tend to give you a range, like the low point to the high point and then average. So this will help you see into the position that you're seeking and see if it's in the pay range that you want to be in. You can do this with your current position. Don't be afraid to apply and job hunt while you're at your current job, because you don't have to accept an offer if you get one. You don't have to take it, but you will at least have the opportunity to know, hey, I could be making this if I wanted to. And I'll link to an article I read today when I was trying to figure out the statistics on how much of an increase you can get when you job hop versus when you ask for a raise. And there was an article in Forbes that was very interesting on this, and it said, that's where they said the 3 to 5% if you're asking for a raise or when it comes time to annual reviews. But the second part is they said you can make 10 to 20%, if not way more, if you leave your current position and go to another job. So you can apply for the same exact position in another company, or you can look at the credentials and the qualifications that are needed and then go gain those through education or maybe taking some courses or getting some certifications, and then apply for that other position that's at a higher level, at a higher price point. So it takes some strategy. You really have to think through this and find your way, but don't be afraid to leave, because employers are always looking out for themselves. They are after the bottom line in their business, and that's what they're in business to do, to make money. They're gonna pay people as little as they can to get them to do the job that they need done. And if bad times come in the economy, they will lay you off. So it's that whole idea of company loyalty, it's just fading because employers have burned employees, and it's not a matter of screwing your employer, it's just more looking out for yourself. And if your employer isn't willing to pay you what you should be getting paid, that's when it's time to seek out something else and not just wait around for them to give you a raise, because it's going to be a while and you only live once. So make money moves and look for other jobs. Now, I would not suggest doing this if you love your job, okay? So if you love your job, we'll get to that in a second. But let's go to step number 2, or idea number 2, and that is to ask for a raise. Now, when you go in and ask for a raise, I personally haven't done this because I've just found the idea of just changing jobs altogether a much better solution for me to get to the level that I wanted to get at. But if you are gonna ask for a raise, then go prepared with what it is that you bring to the table, what you've done over the past number of years that you've been with your employer to add value to the company. I just heard this referenced as a brag sheet. So make a brag sheet, write all of this down, and then schedule some time to talk to your employer. Don't spring this on them at the coffee machine or just by popping into their office. send them an email or just ask them for a meeting, and then go prepared. Be prepared to brag about yourself, know what your position's worth. Maybe you got hired in at a rate that's lower than you should have, like you lowballed yourself. Sadly, we all do that. I did it a lot and it was just frustrating, and I've learned from it. The other idea is to get a second job. Now, this is not a long-term solution because we can't be running around working like crazy and have good quality of life. Like, it's gonna hurt our health, it's just gonna hurt our emotions and our relationships. We're not gonna be able to be there for our friends and family. So it's really not a long-term solution to have a second job, but it is an excellent short-term solution. And short-term could be 3 months, 6 months, a year. For me, it was about a year and a half of having 2 jobs, and sometimes you just need to do it if you want to maybe knock out some debt or really rack up your savings account, or some situation that you just really want to work extra hard for. Do it, and don't be afraid to work hard and long and be tired, because you know it's temporary and you've got a longer term solution in play. Like for me, I had a second job because my first job, I made like $10 an hour. My first job out of college with my professional, whatever, real job you want to call it. I made way less than I was making bartending. So I kept my bartending job all a year and a half until I got my next job where I was paid a decent wage. Like on my second job, I got offered $40,000, and that was enough for me to just go down to 1 job. But I worked 2 jobs for that whole time because I wanted to pay my bills, take care of my daughter, and I just did what I had to do while I was increasing my skill set and gaining experience so that another employer could see that I have something on my resume besides bartending and working in the restaurant. But anyways, don't be afraid to work a second job. There's so many options right now with Uber and bartending and whatever. Like, there is just too many things to be doing that you could do on a part-time basis or full-time or whatever it is, and just stack some cash. The last idea is a combination. So you know you want to keep your job, but you know you're getting underpaid. So here's where you go through the process of finding a new job. You research other competitors, see what they're paying, you see just what you could be making, and you apply for the job, you go to the interview, you get an offer, and then you take that offer and you go to your employer and you tell them, hey, I really love working here and I do not want to leave, and bring your brag sheet, tell them again all these XYZ things that you do to add value to the company, and say, at the same time, I do have a life to live and I do have a family to support, and I have been offered this. And you could tell them the position, you could tell them the dollar amount if you'd like, and say, you know, I would prefer to stay with you guys, but at the same time, I need to look out for myself. And see what they come back with. You know, give them the chance to come back and offer you a raise or something that's much more significant to get you to stay, because employers do have an expense when it comes to finding new talent. They have to recruit and they have to pay for training and all that, and employers don't want to do that either. But they're not going to just immediately give you a raise because you ask for it. But if they know that they're going to lose you, if they don't, then you almost like force their hand. So you're much more likely to get the raise. But be willing to walk away if they're not willing to at least meet you halfway or get much more close to what you want to be getting. Be ready and be prepared to walk away from that job situation, because that just may be what it is. And it's okay. It'll be a new experience for you. You'll make new friends and coworkers, and it'll just be a new learning experience. So embrace that and take it for what it is. There's so many things that we could do to increase our income. That's just a few ideas and things that have worked in my situation. So I just wanted to share that with you, because there's only so much penny pinching that we could do before we feel strapped and unsatisfied. And I just don't think the penny pinching is a long-term solution. Like if you want to make good money, make good money. And if you want to buy your Starbucks and go to Target and do whatever it is that you like to do, I want you to be able to do it. I like to do it, but we have to be responsible also. And that's where being really aware of our financial situation, what we can and can't spend money on, is important. So there's more tips in my first video if you want to go back and watch that. But don't be afraid to make some changes and make some money moves, because you have to be the CEO of your own life and look out for yourself. Tune in next week and I will be bringing in some more tips. Make some comments below, subscribe, let me know any other questions that you have. I'd be happy to help. Bye.